All right, welcome back to the SSL Family Dad channel. Today we are going to talk about something that happened, really changed the course of the year for us here on the farm, and that was the pig attack that happened. And so I wanted to take you guys through kind of from start to finish, as well as play the 911 recording that we were able to get. And so you guys can kind of get the whole experience of what happened to us here. So in April of this year, I was moving some animals around, and we had George, our 2-year-old boar, in this little pasture behind me here where Virginia is now. And I had 3 of his sons, also boars that were not fixed or cut or anything like that. They were intact boars that we were keeping to sell for breeding purposes that hadn't sold. And so I had moved those 3 boars around into this large pasture on my left. Well, right behind me here you can see that they share a fence. So the little yellow insulators there, that's a fence that divided the 3 boars that I had moved into this pasture from George, the boar, the older breeding boar. This is an electric wire. There's electric wire all the way along the bottom on both sides as well as along the top. And so generally that takes care of any pigs that try to get through. They learn real quick. They'll get that electric fence and they'll stay away from it. And so I didn't expect any issues. But as soon as those 3 boars got in here, they ran right up to this fence line, and George ran up to the fence line, and they discovered each other. The 3 boars in this pasture continued to attack the fence, even though they were getting shocked. George was on this side, and he was hitting the fence continually, trying to get through, trying to get under. Even though he was getting electrocuted and shocked, he would run off, and then 5-10 minutes later he'd come back. And eventually through that, they had knocked a wire off right here, was grounding out, and it was no longer functioning. So I started to get a little nervous that they were going to get at each other and tear the fence apart, and I wanted to make sure the electric fence was working. So I shut the electric wire off. I threw some food out for George, just like I have for Virginia out here. I had thrown some food out, and he started to kind of pay attention to the food, but he was running along the fence on the other side of the shelter here, still attacking the fence with the other boars. And I had come in here to fix the wire that had fallen off. I was just tying the wire back and getting the insulator back on the pole. It had knocked the insulator off. He came up, and as soon as I heard him right about here, I started to stand up, and he hit me underneath my leg here with one of his tusks, knocked me down. And at that time, I was on my back, and he was still coming at me, and I was kicking him off with my other leg. And I immediately got up, ran out of there, and jumped over this fence. As soon as I landed on this side of the fence, I could feel the blood just running down my leg into my boot, and I knew that it was a little more than just a scratch. Now at this point, I was luckily close enough to the house. I jumped over the fence right here, and all I had to do was hobble over to the back of the porch here where I could start to figure out what was going on and get help. And this is where I ended up. Was able to get my leg up on here. I took my pants off, my boots off as quick as I could so that I could see what the damage was. And there was blood everywhere. And what I had initially thought was just a puncture, I thought he had just punctured me with his tusk, was actually a gash that was from below my knee all the way up to above my knee from the back. And it was about 11 inches long and about 3 inches deep. It was almost all the way up to my knee on the inside. At this point, I had notified the kids and my wife that I was injured and needed help. My wife had called 911 at that point, but I also, just out of instinct, called 911 as well. So I had my phone out on the ground. I called 911, and here is that call.
Hello? Hello?
Hey guys, I need a towel, please. Lock the dogs in the bathroom.
Hello?
Oh, I'm at 504 Road. I think my wife is on the phone with you. I'm in Michigan. I have a huge hole in my leg.
Okay. Okay, yeah, but it's not...
Ambulance, please, I'm bleeding.
Okay, you're bleeding? How did you get a hole in your leg?
A pig got me with his horns right in the back of my leg, behind my knee.
Okay, I need you to put a cloth on. I'm going to start the medics. How old are you?
I'm 38.
38, okay.
38
All right.
years old.
Can you get the blood under control, the bleeding?
I'm going to try to elevate my leg. I don't know if I need to put a tourniquet on or not.
Okay, so my partner's getting the medics started right now. I'm going to keep you on the phone just to make sure we update them. Is it like spurting out or oozing out?
It is spurting.
It's spurting? Okay, can you try, like, is it a hole where you can put clean cloths pushed into it?
There is a large hole. Hang on, I have a belt.
Okay, so
I have a large.
Okay, put your leg.
My knee.
Okay, put your leg up, and then what you're gonna do is you're gonna then take a cloth and put it in the hole and push it like towards your heart maybe, and try to hold it there. And it's probably gonna hurt. So if you want to just put the hole there to apply pressure on it.
I've got my hand on it right now. It seems to be slowing the bleeding down. I'm afraid to take my hand off.
Okay.
Anita.
Yeah, don't take your hand off. Have other people get you the stuff that you need.
Okay. All right. Sorry.
Okay. Did someone get the pig or whatever it was under control?
Yep. I'm not in there anymore. I got out of there.
Okay.
I'm feeling like. All right, guys. I'm gonna need some help in case I pass out. I'm sorry to say that. Okay. But I'm gonna be fine. I just need.
Okay, and the hole is behind your knee.
Yep. So I should wrap this tight with the cloth.
Yep, and elevate your leg. Okay, where's your wife at?
She's here.
She's there? Okay, yeah, have her help you out too.
Yep, I've got, okay. His water.
Okay. Okay, you said it's spurting out. Let's see here.
Yep.
Is it slowing down at all?
You know what, it seems to be slowing down a little bit, but
okay.
it is definitely red blood, so
all right, and do you have any, like, bleeding disorders or on any blood thinners?
I do not.
No? Okay, good. All right.
Hey, guys. Okay. It's okay. It's going to be fine. I'm sorry I freaked you guys out. It's a pretty bad cut.
Okay, yeah, just try to get everyone on the same page and just remaining as calm as possible, you know. And then if it starts like bleeding through the cloth, also don't keep taking the cloth off. Just hold it on there completely the whole time. Okay, and then if it bleeds through, just put another one on top.
All right.
And like I said, the medics are already on the way. Don't have anything to eat or drink from now on. I don't want to make you sick or cause further problems, or if you pass out and cause other issues. And then just try to remain as still as possible.
What's that?
I said just try to remain as still as possible. And keep it elevated. You guys are in the house, you said?
I'm out on the back porch.
Oh, you're on the back porch? Okay, so once they get there, you can flag them down, or someone can flag them down.
Well, okay, I got a job for you, buddy. I need you to go out towards the front yard where the center little island thing is. I want you to just stand out there and just flag the ambulance down when they come down the road, okay?
Okay.
Yep. Okay.
Okay, yeah, as long as she stays in the driveway so she's not, like, in traffic or anything.
Yeah, we have a circle driveway, so she'll be in the center of the circle.
Okay, perfect. Then they can flag them down. And you guys got the pets put away?
Yep, we've got the, all right, Lisa, I need you to do me a favor. Go into the garage. Yep. There's a plug above my workbench. There's a white extension cord. Plug it back in so the electric fence is back on.
Okay.
There's a white extension cord right there.
All right, how are you doing? How's the blood looking?
I'm doing okay. Summer, are you still here? Okay, just stay here in case I pass out. You let Mom know.
Okay.
Well, I haven't.
Yeah, don't take his cloth off. As long as it's not bleeding through. Okay, that's good. And then are you feeling any more like lightheaded or anything? Or?
I'm not feeling lightheaded. I think I'm doing all right.
Okay, yeah, I think you're doing pretty awesome. The way it sounds like everything's going.
Did you get the fence plugged in?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Everybody's secure.
Okay, everyone's safe now. Okay, so yeah, just keep it elevated. If it starts to bleed through, did you wrap anything around your leg above the wound, like a tourniquet style at all, or no?
I didn't do a tourniquet. I was waiting to see. I haven't seen the wound yet. I just saw a whole lot of blood.
Okay, yeah. So I mean that's up to you. If it starts to bleed through, then we can go over how to do that. But if you think it's helping slowing down now, I'm gonna kind of go off of how you feel too.
I think it's okay.
Okay, perfect. Do you want me to stay on the phone with you till they get there, or you want to just call back if things take a turn?
I think we're fine. My wife's here with me. I think we'll be all right till the ambulance.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, like I said, try not to have anything to eat or drink. Just stay not moving around. Keep it elevated, the pressure on it, and apply, you know, more clean rags. And then just flag them down if there's any pets. Got those already put away. And you're not on any medication, are you?
I am not.
Nope. Okay, perfect. What was your name?
Todd.
Todd. Okay, Todd. Like I said, call us back if anything changes at all or you got any more questions. Okay, they're on the way.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Bye bye.
So I heard Dad come in through the door, like burst in through the door, and he was yelling, screaming, and I had no idea. Like, I was really startled, obviously, because usually we don't hear him scream like that.
I was upstairs in our bedroom, and the only thing that I knew was the girls were beating on our bedroom door, and they were saying that I had to come quick, something about you. You had told me, you said, I think I'm going to need an ambulance. And that's the moment when it all started to make sense. I heard either you or the girls say, George got me. We were all taking orders from you, and you were the one that was hurt.
Dad was asking us to put the dogs away, so I was trying to wrangle up the dogs because I don't know if they were excited too or what, but I was like throwing treats in the door of the bathroom trying to get them to go in. Finally I got them in. I was trying to comfort Summer at the same time because she was a little freaked out.
For some reason I was looking for neckties. I don't know if you asked me to do that or I just was thinking, because at that point I knew there was a lot of blood.
But Dad told me to go outside and flag down the ambulance, which I was kind of confused what that meant at first because I've never done anything like that. But I just kind of stood down at the end of the yard, end of the front yard, and just waited for the ambulance to come. Everything was really scary, and it felt like forever for the ambulance to be able to get to the house finally. I've never told any of the medic people to do anything before, so I had to show them where you were, where Dad was. They thought I was pointing to the barn. Our neighbor had to actually point him in the right direction to help out.
I remember you asking our youngest Summer to talk to you so that it would help you not pass out. And Kayla was gone at the road by that point.
So while Dad was by himself and Kayla was out flagging down the ambulance, Dad told me to stay by him so that he didn't pass out and I could tell Mom about anything that happened.
So at this point, the 911 operator had let me go and said the ambulance should be here soon, and I was starting to feel very strange.
You were saying that you couldn't feel your mouth, you couldn't feel your fingertips and your toes, and that things were starting to get kind of fuzzy for you.
I started to go into shock, what I can describe as going into shock. My limbs started to feel very weak. I was feeling like a buzzing sound in my ears. I couldn't move my muscles at all. I was losing feeling in my legs and my arms. I was becoming cold. It was very hard to move, and I knew that I had lost a lot of blood. I was sure that an artery was hit because of how much blood there was. It was just blood was just everywhere.
Your leg was up on our planter, and I just remember thinking, we are not in any situation to a sterile environment, and for you to have an injury, I'm just thinking about us giving you clean things, and you had your belt, and I mean, we just had the weirdest stuff laying around, and it was just so crazy to me.
And at that point, I was really on the fence about whether I should try to use a belt as a tourniquet. I had the belt around my leg, but I hadn't tightened it yet. And my neighbor, we were talking about whether we should do it, whether we shouldn't, and I wasn't sure. As soon as the paramedics did arrive, first thing they did was put a tourniquet on the leg, stopped the bleeding, and got me in the ambulance and rushed me off to trauma.
Well, I remember the ambulance ride was really quick. EMT, one driving, one in the back with you and I. He was getting your ID. We were kind of doing all the paperwork. And I remember you were covered in blood. And he said, would you mind signing for your husband, because he had a touch screen computer, laptop, and he said, I don't want his blood all over the screen. And so when I went to sign, my hands were full of blood too, and you know, we just had to get through that. But
the tourniquet was starting to get very painful. Cutting blood circulation off completely 100% to your limb is extremely painful, and it only gets worse and worse and worse and worse the longer that tourniquet is on. I started to look down at my foot and see it becoming black and just a really awful color. And all those things put together started to really worry me. I was worried, you know, how long is the tourniquet going to be on? How long is it taking us too long to get to the hospital? You know, I was just thinking about all these things.
your leg was looking dark gray, blackish, bluish. It was, I'll never forget the look of your leg. It looked like a fake dead leg. It didn't look like, because it was from your high mid-thigh down on your right leg, and it was your whole leg, and your foot especially, just, it didn't have any blood flow to it. They were all lined up in the emergency room wing. They were all lined up, doctors, nurses, maybe 20 people lined up the hallway as you were being wheeled in. And they sat me down outside of your room. I don't know what happened inside of your room at that point, but somebody came over to ask me what had happened. I had thought you were attacked by a wild boar out in the wild. And so it was just crazy.
When I arrived at emergency, the pain of the tourniquet was continually just getting worse and worse, and they were giving me pain medication and more pain medication, and I was able to bear the pain, but it was becoming to a point where it was almost unbearable. The pain of the tourniquet was horrible.
He came out to me and he said, we can't take that tourniquet off. We can't take that tourniquet off until he's under. We don't know what we're going to get into when we see what's happened. And he told me they were going to do some exploratory repair, emergency surgery on your leg. They couldn't guarantee your leg. They couldn't guarantee that you wouldn't have permanent damage to your leg if they did save it. And that was so odd to me, to just, you just don't even, it was just really hard. And then to see you and say goodbye to you before surgery, and you just were in so much pain from the tourniquet. That was so hard, to see you in that much pain, and say goodbye to you. I knew you were in good hands, but you were in so much pain. That was really hard to see. They stuck me in a waiting room, and they said there was a phone, and they were going to call me. They were going to call that phone when you were out of surgery, and it was like 1 hour went by. They called, let me know, that you were out of surgery. The surgeon ended up coming to visit me too, and he said it was much better than anticipated. No arteries, just a lot of muscle that the pig tore through, that his tusk had torn through, that it was a 10-inch plus laceration, and he did the best he could to put it back together and stitch it. It's right behind your knee, so you had quite a few stitches.
The good news was that the tusk ran right up alongside of the artery and the tendon, because it didn't cut this way. It didn't break or cut or open anything. It ran right along those things, and he said that the bleeding, the crazy amount of blood, was just because that muscle, it tore through so much muscle that there's just a lot of blood. There's just a lot of vascular material there. So,
but he did tell me and warn me that you may suffer some permanent damage from this injury, that it was still deep, and you lost a lot of blood. You didn't need a blood transfusion, because that was another thing they were worried about before you went into surgery. So we did get really great news after your surgery. We had so many people stop by the hospital to see you. When I got home that night, there was a list of our friends that had stopped by, our church family, that, it was a lined sheet of paper that was front and back. It was like 20, maybe 25 people that stopped by. Just cards and and things that we would need. It was amazing.
Couple days in the hospital, back home, and recovery, you know, they told me could take a really long time. Healing was nothing short of a miracle, and the result of so many people praying for us and caring for us. Church family here, friends and family, and others just wrapped their arms around us here and took care of things, helped my wife and the kids with the farm chores, and came out and cleaned up and brought us food and just cared for us in such an amazing way. It was just, I can't thank those people enough. And through a lot of prayer, as I was back on my feet in record time, like months shorter than they thought that I would be.
We know the power in prayer because, you know, we went home concerned about permanent damage, infection. You're completely healed. You don't have a limp. You have no nerve damage. It looks great.
Through this whole thing was a huge learning experience for us. This was an animal that I never trusted. I don't ever trust male, uncut or unneutered, unfixed animals, intact male animals on the farm. The goats and stuff like that, they're small enough where, you know, they could headbutt me, but they don't have claws, they don't have tusks, they don't have horns that are sharp or anything, so I don't worry too much about them. You know, but a boar is they're vicious animals. I mean, no matter what breed they are, if they are a intact boar, they are dangerous. And that was a big kind of eye opener for me. I knew they were dangerous, but I didn't know how dangerous. Especially an uncut boar that has tusks. And the particular breed of pig that we have here, the males have tusks, and that's just how they are. We have decided that we will continue to raise pigs, but we will change up a few things. We're going to redesign the pig operation that we have here. We're going to make it much more safe. We are going to do a better job of redundant fencing. We're not going to make the mistake of putting boars together that haven't, you know, and that kind of thing. We have to, you know, change up that process so we can move animals around without them being in contact with each other. And so there's a lot of work to be done, legwork to be done for us to get that set up. But we do still want to raise these pigs, and it hasn't completely, you know, swayed us away from that, but we just need to be much more aware. And I think this is good learning experience for us and our family. And so we will take what we learned and apply it here and go forward and do better. And that's where we're at this point. So don't forget to hit thumbs up on the video, guys. Share the video out if anyone is raising pigs or thinking about doing farming. You know, I just can't stress enough. I'd love to share this with as many people as possible, just so people are aware and understand and can be prepared and be careful. That's what I would like to share with this. So share this out as much as you can. Of course, subscribe to the channel if this is your first time here. We do farming and homesteading type stuff and DIY projects and anything you could think of in a self-sustainable lifestyle. And so we'd love to have you tag along for that. And as always, guys, thanks for watching. Have a good one.